Hey there guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIII. In the last episode we completed Cie'th Mission 33, and now we are going to complete Cie'th Mission 34, which will be the final Cie'th mission that we're going to complete before returning to Cocoon for the final battle. Alright, so first of all, if you haven't completed Cie'th missions 1 through 33, then I would highly suggest to do so now, because doing them now will get them out of the way for later in the game whenever we return to Grand Pulse after beating the final boss. And also, some of the Cie'th missions found through Cie'th missions 1 through 28 will serve as Cie'th waypoints so that you can teleport through Grand Pulse, making your travel a lot easier to get from point A to point B. Alright, so if you need help with any of that, you can check back on the earlier episodes of this walkthrough, and I explained Cie'th missions 1 through 33 in detail. Alright, so before proceeding on with Cie'th mission 34, I highly suggest that you max out your Crystarium at stage 9 with your character's primary roles. This will make the Cie'th Mission 34 battle go a lot more easier, and not only that, but once we return to Cocoon, it'll make the battles on Cocoon a lot more easier, because when we go back to Cocoon, the enemies are no joke in Chapter 12 and Chapter 13. So we spent a lot of time in Chapter 11 leveling up our characters, earning CP, and upgrading weapons and accessories. So we might as well put the extra hour or two into CP grinding so that you can max out your Crystarium for stage 9 fully with your character's primary roles, so that when we do go back to Cocoon, we'll have a huge upper hand. Alright, so with all that out of the way, make sure you have Cie'th missions 1 through 33 complete, and now let's take on Cie'th mission 34. So first of all, you're going to need a Chocobo to reach the Cie'th for this mission. If you don't have Chocobos unlocked, you're going to have to complete mission 14. So for more info on that, check back to earlier episodes of this walkthrough. And now let's talk about where we can actually find the Cie'th. So the location for Cie'th 34 is right by Cie'th 31 and 33. So if you don't know where that is, you're going to want to be in the Archlight Steep. Once you're there, pull up the map and look for 7 Cie'th in a circle over on the left hand side of the map. And just north or just south of that, on the wall, you'll see a little side path branching off, and it goes quite a ways out of the Archlight Steep. So this is the area we need to make our way to, and you need to be on a Chocobo in order to access this area. So again, just look for the Cie'th that are in a circle. There's 7 of them. And then look at the side path that branches off, and that's the side path we're going to take at the Archlight Steep. So go ahead and jump on a Chocobo, and let's head over there now. Alright, so we're coming up on a treasure. Let's quickly dig up this treasure, because you do get good stuff for Chocobo digging. And I would highly suggest to at least dig up 20 items with the Chocobo. That way you can get the ribbon accessory, which is really rare and really useful. So if you haven't dug up 20 Chocobo treasures yet, or you're unsure of how to, check back on the last couple episodes, and I explained that in detail. Alright, so it's right around here somewhere. Where is it at? Come here, Choco treasure. Here it is. And we got a drop of Dust Light Dew, nothing special. Alright, so once you make your way over to the area where you're going to need to proceed for the Sea Stone Mission 34, go ahead and jump up with your chocobo and follow this path all the way to the end. Now take note that if you haven't completed any of the Sea Stone missions up to this point, then this path will be blocked off further up ahead. And in order to unlock the path forward where you're going to need to go for the Sea Stone mission, you need to complete Sea Stone Mission 30. So if you haven't completed Mission 30 yet, I highly suggest to do that now, or else the path further ahead will be blocked off. Alright, so go ahead and follow this path as far back as you can go. Alright, so once you make your way really far back, you'll be in the XIII Archaeolopus. So stay on your chocobo and head to the next narrow path. And here you can jump up and it'll lead you to the next area. Alright, so once at the top, you'll see that the path forward is blocked by a red barrier. So in order to remove the barrier, examine this red sea stone to the right. And this is Sea Stone Mission 34, Zenobia the Butcher. The mark is Zenobia, and the location is Archlight Steep, XIII Archaeolopus, which is right behind us. And the class is B. Alright, so go ahead and accept the mission. Alright, so again, before you attempt this mission, I would highly advise that you've at least maxed out your Crucerium for Stage 9 for all your character's primary roles. And you can also start developing them as a synergist for their secondary roles. And as soon as you jump down, you'll see the star directly in front of you. Let's quickly talk preparations. Go ahead and choose Rapid Growth as your active paradigm. That way we can fully buff our characters up. And then we're going to switch to Evened Odds to heal and sabotage the enemy. And then finally, after everything's set up, we're going to switch to Relentless Assault to stagger them, and Aggression to finish them off. Also, if you want to know what equipment that I have on, I have the Enkindler fully upgraded, Adamant Bangle fully upgraded, Aurora Scarf and Sprint Shoes for lightning. For Vanille, I have the Marlboro Wand fully upgraded, Survivalist Catalog, Speed Sash and Sprint Shoes. Finally, for Fang, I have the Calamity Spear fully upgraded, 2 Speed Sashes and Sprint Shoes. Now, if you're wondering why I have Speed Sashes on, because if you equip 2 of them together, you get the passive ability Random Instant Chain. Now what this does is it gives you a small percent chance to instantly stagger the enemy. So it's very useful, and you note that I have it on Vanille too, but I only have one Speed Sash and a Survivalist Catalog. Now the reason why I have these two paired together is because they work the same as having two Speed Sashes. The Survivalist Catalog is considered a Speed Sash sort of, except it obtains the items, or obtains the chance of dropping Shrouds after battle. So if you use these two together, you'll still get the random instant chain effect, but take note that you need to equip at least two of them. If you only have one on, the random instant chain won't work. You need to have at least two of them, at least two Speed Sashes, or one Speed Sash and a Survivalist Catalog to get the random instant chain passive ability. And if you equip the accessories that give you random instant chain on more than one character, your chances of instantly staggering an enemy will increase. Alright, so now that we've talked preparation, go ahead and head to the destination mark for the battle. Uh-oh, Tomberry. This little guy, if anybody knows Final Fantasy or have played any previous Final Fantasies, you know about the Tomberry. These guys are lethal. First things first, make sure you Libra Tomberry. Once you Libra him, you'll see that he has 742,500 HP. And he's halved to water damage, and his weakness is... not really sure what that is. But his status immunities are displayed in the upper right. His chain resistance is 66 and his stagger point is 666. So it's going to be pretty difficult to stagger him unless the random instant chain kicks in. Alright, so start off with a paradigm of Synergist, which is rapid growth. That way we can buff our characters out. Then we're going to quickly switch to Medic Saboteur Synergist, which is even dodge, so that we can buff our characters up and debuff the boss. Alright, so let's start it up.
Thank you. Not a problem.
Alright, so now let's switch to even dodge and debuff the boss.
Appreciate it. I gotta do everything? Thanks.
Alright, once the boss is Tonberry is debuffed, switch to Relentless Attack and let's start to pummel this guy into the ground. Then switch to Aggression and finish him off. And hopefully you can take him out fast enough so that he doesn't do too much damage to you. Remember, buffing up your characters and debuffing the Tomberry is the key to a quick victory. So for winning the battle, you get 7,500 Christian points. And you might get a Chocobo Plum. And that's a mission complete. So for completing Cie'th Mission 34, Zenobia the Butcher, you get a pair of Hermes sandals, which can be upgraded to sprint shoes for auto haste. Also, your party has earned the rank of Curse Lifter. Alright, So now that we've completed Cie'th mission 34, matter of fact, now that we've completed missions 1 through 34, the only thing left for us to do at this point is to proceed back to Cocoon for the final battle. Now note that you can continue doing Cie'th missions from here on, although it is highly recommended to wait and save some for later. So after we complete the final boss, we're going to return back to Grand Pulse after beating the boss on Cocoon, and we are going to finish up all of the optional Cie'th missions. Alright, so again, before we head back to Cocoon, I highly advise everyone to complete Cie'th missions 1 through 34. And if you need any help completing any of them or want to know the locations or strategies to winning, you can check back on the previous episodes of this guide, and I explain each mission in detail. After you've completed Cie'th missions 1 through 34, I would suggest to max out your character's current Crystarium, Stage 9, in their primary roles. And after you've maxed out your character's primary role, start working on their secondary roles. We're going to go ahead and switch the Paradigm back to Relentless Assault for now. And that's going to complete this episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIII. Or matter of fact, no, we're going to go ahead and continue to where we need to be real quick. So let's go ahead and find a Chocobo really fast. And we're going to go ahead and go to the end of Orba real quick so that we can head straight to Cocoon right away on the next episode. So let's continue backtracking, and we'll just find a teleport stone in the Archlight Steep so that we can quickly teleport to Orba, and then we'll walk the rest of the way. Alright, so go ahead and backtrack to the Agris pasture area of the Archlight Steep. Here you can find a Chocobo. Let's go ahead and mount him up and head to the nearest Cie'th Waystone so that we can teleport to Orba. Alright, so it looks like the nearest teleport stone is at the entrance of the Archlight Steep. So let's go ahead and head left once you're back at the opening area. Alright. So once you're back at the entrance area to the Archlight Steep, at the Central Expanse area, go ahead and find the Cie'th Waystone, which is marked by the orange icon, Cie'th icon, Sea Stone icon on your map. Now, if you don't know what a Cie'th Waystone is, it allows you to instantly teleport to previously visited areas of Grand Pulse, making travel a lot more easily. And if you don't have any Cie'th Waystones unlocked, that's because you haven't completed Sea Stone missions. So I would highly suggest to complete them before heading back to Orba, so that we can continue on to Cocoon. Alright, so once you get there, choose the teleport. And we're going to go to Orba, the village proper. Alright, so once you've teleported back to Orba, we need to make our way to the end of the train tracks where we fought Barthandelus, so that we can head back to Cocoon.
You're nothing! Eat this! Be ready for the next fight.
Alright, so you might want to go ahead and fight all the enemies you come in contact with too for the extra CP. Because just like last time, we're going to want to get our CP to max before our Crystarium expands again. Now, if you want to know the maximum amount of CP you can carry, you can have a total of 1 million CP, which is just before 1 million, 1 point off. So the total CP that you can store at one time is 999,999. So basically a million CP. Alright, so let's continue making our way back to the train tracks in Orba, which is the end of the road. Alright, so let's press on. Now you don't have to fight these vampires up ahead because they're not really worth the amount of time you would spend. The CP isn't really worth it, so we can skip these guys. However, in the case of fighting a vampire with some seekers, I would advise to fight that battle. So skip the 2 single vampire enemies and fight the vampire with 3 seekers. Alright, so after clearing out the enemies, go ahead and ascend the stairs. And again, we're just going to make our way to the end of the train tracks in Orba, so that on the beginning of the next episode, we can head straight to Cocoon. Also, make sure that you have all of these side stuff completed, such as Cie'th missions 1 through 34. And you have your Crystarium maxed out with all characters for their primary roles.
That's how it's done. You asked for it. Hardly worth the effort.
Alright, so once you make your way back to the train tracks in Orba, go ahead and follow the tracks to the end of the road. And there you'll find a save point where you can save your game and make sure that you have all the necessary preparations taken care of and all of the optional stuff taken care of before we return to Cocoon. Because once we head back to Cocoon, it'll be a good little while before we can return to Grand Pulse. We will be able to eventually, just not right away. So let's take out these final enemies.
You're nothing! Feeling nervous? Nothing worse. Eat this! Eat this! Hardly worth the effort.
Alright, so once you've taken out the final enemies, go ahead and jump down and you'll find the save point to the right. So make sure that you've done your preparations. Again, make sure you've completed Cie'th missions 1 through 34. And make sure you've at least maxed out your Crystarium for stage 9 for all your characters' primary roles. And then if you want, you can progress your characters down their secondary roles. However, I wouldn't try to max out their secondary roles right now because the CP cost is way too much. We'll get to that later. You should just learn the first few abilities for each secondary role if you want. Or you can, if you're using Lightning, Vanille, and Fang as your active battle team, then I would suggest to advance all 3 of them down the Synergist role a good ways. Because Fang will learn Haste on her stage 8 Crystarium level of the secondary role Synergist. So that's very useful. And also progressing Fang, Vanille, and Lightning down the Synergist role as well will allow you to use the Paradigm Rapid Growth, which is 3 Synergists together. This way your characters will be fully buffed within 30 seconds of each battle. Alright, so for any information on upgrading your weapons, upgrading accessories, Cie'th missions 1 through 34, optional side quests or chocobo treasures, treasure balls, anything, everything that we can get for now has been completely covered. So if you have any questions before returning to Cocoon on anything, you can refer to the previous episodes of this walkthrough, and I cover everything that you can possibly get and do at this time. Alright, so thank you guys for watching, and that's going to conclude this episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIII. I'll see you guys next time where we head back to Cocoon for the final battle.